Wow, okay. You know, I was confused yesterday, but today I might be even a little bit more confused. Because we had ourselves news regarding the Vancouver Canucks and their blue line that I actually didn't think we would get. Let's take a look at Twitter here. We've got two tweets simultaneously by Elliot Friedman. 2 minutes ago, he tweeted this out, that Filip Hronek, out with injury since November 27th, is skating with the Canucks today in Winnipeg. Okay, great. He joined the team from the Abbey Canucks and started practicing. That, I think, is a lot more than we had expected out of Hronek, since some of the timelines that we heard about him and his recovery path were potentially seeing him suit up with the team in February or March. I get it, it's the middle of January. But to see him actually practice with the Canucks, that's a really good thing. But also, this other tweet talks about how Mark McLaughlin from the Boston Bruins and Erik Brannstrom have cleared waivers. Okay, that is interesting, because I thought for sure, we said in the video yesterday, hey, like, Erik Brannstrom, he's totally gonna get claimed, right? This is a guy who's a puck-moving player, and we had seen the value he brought when Filip Hronek and Quinn Hughes was out. Brannstrom was the main power play guy, and even though it was very obvious that Rick Tocchet didn't trust this player, that Tocchet was giving this player the Höglander, Kuzmenko, Daniel Sprong treatment, even though that was quite obvious, I would say, the guy still goes through waivers unclaimed. Which I guess maybe shouldn't be surprising when you consider that Daniel Sprong went through the same process a few days ago and he didn't get claimed either. But this actually is surprising enough that I think we do have to talk about the implications here and just what exactly the Canucks might be doing if this works out. So let's talk about this here. Erik Brannstrom, having him down in the Abbey Canucks system is going to be very good for some of the up-and-coming young defenders that are over there. Just imagine Brannstrom teaching Elias Pettersson how to man a power play. Not that Elias Pettersson has been bad by any means, but he's been a lot less of an offensive-leaning guy on the blue line. So, hey, I'm actually all for Brannstrom giving Pettersson some pointers. And if Brannstrom has that same mentality that Daniel Sprong has in the Coachella Valley Firebird system, hey, I'm too good to be here, I want to prove that I don't need to be here, I want to prove that I need to get back up, then okay, hopefully we can see Erik Brannstrom doing some very good things. He was pretty alright at moving the puck on the power play in the NHL, definitely better than any of the other Canucks D-men, not named Hughes or Hronek, but in his own zone, Brannstrom was just not all too great. He was getting caved in sometimes, and they were talking about this on the radio, but people don't really notice it because a lot of other players, like Tyler Myers and Carson Soucy, they have worse moments. How Tyler Myers, you know, everybody hates on Tyler Myers because he is the guy that makes everything happen, good and bad. Good because he plays some of the hardest minutes on the team against top matchups, and for the most part he treads water, but bad because when you talk about the worst highlights of the team, Tyler Myers always seems to be involved somehow. This is why, when you talk about sheltered minutes, you talk about Myers, if he's playing in a second pairing role, he actually is a lot better. He's not getting the prime matchups, which helps his longevity, it helps his cardio, it doesn't tire him out, and as a result, it leads to him making fewer bad decisions. But with Erik Brannstrom, you wouldn't really notice it because he doesn't have those big minutes against top competition. Therefore, his worst moments aren't particularly highlighted in the same way that Myers's are. It's just because Brannstrom still has some pretty negative defensive metrics, whilst playing in a sheltered role, there's a reason why Tocchet didn't really see much out of him and he didn't trust him as much as he could have. Whereas a guy like Brisebois, while Brisebois doesn't necessarily man a power play, he can't move the puck in the O-zone like Erik Brannstrom does, Brisebois is very smart, and he's very good defensively. Like, you can just see it. The small little poke checks, the way he positions himself, the way he cuts off guys, and the way he just kind of gets in the way of things. Guillaume Brisebois is a very skilled defenseman. You're not going to notice it on the score sheet because he doesn't really produce many points, but Guillaume Brisebois is a very solid, defensively minded guy, and he does little things that really go a long way. With this in mind, I wanted to go over to another conversation that was talked about on 650 last night, or not last night, it was on Saturday night. Yeah, Saturday night, and we're in the spot. And this was also talked about in the Canucks subreddit. So the post was made on the R Canucks sub about Hronek coming back and being with the team. I can't believe I'm saying this, Greg the Great said, but we should keep the first pairing with Myers when Hronek is back. Myers has been fine up there, and Hughes is still dominating the game anyways. Having Hronek actually making breakout passes on the second pair would solve a lot of our problems. And so this was also a conversation that Sat and Bick discussed on 650, how Tyler Myers and Hughes together might actually be the move with Hronek and Soucy on the second pairing. And I wanted to go out there and give some perspective. So the argument of keeping Hronek on the first pairing with Hughes is that this would technically be the best pairing on the team. It would definitely be the best pairing on the team. Filip Hronek and Quinn Hughes are so good together. They both contribute offensively. They're both fantastic defensemen. However, you could go out there and argue the contrary. Tyler Myers playing with Quinn Hughes hasn't necessarily been bad. Myers has been forced to give a lot more over the past little while, play more minutes and have more tough matchups because, of course, the other guys were out. But when you think about Myers and Hughes together, sure, we've said that Myers was treading water, playing against top competition and being in this top role. But Quinn Hughes? Oh no, that guy's not treading water. That guy's surfboarding, riding the wave, doing flips and doing masterclass things. He's like the Penguins from Surf's Up. Quinn Hughes is not treading water. He's like Ariel, popping out of the waves with utmost brilliance and beauty. That's Quinn Hughes. And so the argument here is, because Tyler Myers doesn't bring the Hughes pairing down, in fact, Hughes is still doing what it is that he's doing and he's looking all right in the process, would it not be appropriate to spread the depth out? Have Hronek and his puck breakout abilities on the second pairing with Soucy and keeping Myers, who has been decently satisfactory, on the first pair? Honestly, I actually don't disagree. And Bick was arguing pretty heavily a few nights ago on 650, saying that, hey, but you have the best output possible. You have the highest ceiling of offense and productivity with Hughes and Hronek together. And having Myers playing sheltered minutes will allow him to be better. But then the devil's advocate point of view is, once Hronek comes back, do you want to give him top pairing minutes right away? Do you want to ease him into it? Because if you want to ease him into it, then give him top 4 minutes. Don't give him top 2 minutes, give him top 4 minutes with Soucy, keep Myers on top 2 pairing. That, I think, is the dichotomy here between what Canucks fans are saying, and I think it's really interesting. So I do think that there is a conversation to have about whether or not Tyler Myers should be kept on the top pairing when Hronek comes back, at least for the beginning. And if Hughes is able to produce, he's still able to get more points, which I have no doubt that he will be. He's been doing so well in that department the whole season, no matter who he plays with. And if Filip Hronek is able to get going with Carson Soucy, carry his own pairing, maybe he gets the sheltered minutes and he starts producing more, then honestly, a top 4 Hughes, Myers, Soucy, Hronek doesn't sound too bad in theory. So I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Firstly, about Erik Brannstrom clearing waivers and what this means for the Vancouver Canucks and their defensive systems. How Brannstrom is still an option here. Because he cleared waivers, who knows if Patrik Allvin will be doing that Brannstrom up and down and up and down and up and down thing like they had done earlier in the season. Baines, Brannstrom, who else was doing that? I forgot, but still, there were a lot of guys going up and down between the Abbey Canucks and the Vancouver Canucks to save Vancouver money. And I guess now, with Erik Brannstrom down and Hronek skating again, this is the reason why everything went down the way it did. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on Erik Brannstrom? What are your thoughts on the Hughes, Myers, Hronek, Soucy idea? Do you think Hronek should automatically be thrusted into the top pairing with Hughes again? Do you think they should ease him into it? Do you think they should give him his own pairing to control offensively? And do you think Tyler Myers is good enough to stick on that top pairing with Quinn Hughes as the number 2 guy? Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.